over here, guys. Remember, when we are factorizing a trinomial, we're going to open two brackets. This is equal to 0. I know one of my signs is going to be negative, and my other sign is going to be a positive, because a negative times a positive gives me a negative. And then I'm going to put x over here and x over there. I need two factors of 14 that are going to give me -5. That's going to be -7 and +2. 7 times 2 is 14, and -7 plus 2 is -5. All right. Now, according to our zero product law, I need to make each of these equal to 0. X minus 7 is equal to 0, or x plus 2 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is going to equal to 7, or x is going to equal to -2. For those of you who are like, hey, 7, yes. If I take -7 over to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes +7. And if I take 2 over to the other side, it becomes -2. All right. Rata, I think Teacher Kat's going to help you out with your sound real quick. I don't even think she can hear me. I need to put up that sign. All right.
I've DM'd her, don't worry.
Okay, thank you. I do actually need to put up that sign that says, do the thing. And I completely forgot to open it. I will go open it.
Audio. Yeah.
Yeah, I will. I just completely forgot to. Let me see where I put it. There it is. All right. Yes, Braden, if you did that, your answer is also correct. Okay. And the reason your answer is correct is because it doesn't matter in what order we add and subtract, you're going to get to the same answer. All right. So your answer is also correct. For those of you out there who are worried about what's going on, look for that thing and connect to audio, everybody. Braden's like, in a test, how much would this be? All right, you would get 1 mark for factorizing because you're now in grade 10, and you'll get 1 mark each for the correct answers at the end. All right. Simple 3 marks. Okay. Steamer, look here. Steamer, look here. Look for this thing. All right. Mulisa's like, ma'am, I don't understand how we got 7. Mulisa, remember 14 is 2 times 7. And that's where we got the 7 from. Okay. 2 times 7. So I need a 7 and a 2 in my answer. Okay. And then I know that x minus 7, if I take -7 over to the other side of the equal sign, it becomes +7. I hope that answers your question. All right. Hi, Samu. How are you doing? Gift? Not yet. We're going to send you the link at the end of the lesson on Wednesday. Okay, not today. Hello, Samu. I see your hand up. All right. Samu's not answering and not unmuting, but it's okay. We're going to speak to you in just a little bit.
Can we factorize? Because that is the only thing that I don't understand.
Okay. All right. Okay. Samu, we have already done a whole series on factorizing trinomials and highest common factor. So if you go onto our website, like where you joined today's class, and you go to previous videos for grade 10, you're going to find all the videos we did on how to factorize every type of thing. Okay. It's all this we've already gone through. Okay. For now, you can stay with us for this lesson. I'm going to try and explain as slowly as I possibly can so that you can try and keep up with us. And then afterwards, I need you to go watch those other videos so you can catch up. All right?
Yes.
Thanks, Samu. All right. Sean says, ma'am, can I ask how did you get -2? All right, Sean, if I take +2 and I take it to the other side of the equal sign, what happens to the sign there? It changes to -2. So that's how I got x is equal to -2. I hope that makes sense. Right. If you guys are a little bit confused, it's because we are actually on lesson 3 of 8. So we've already done lesson 1 and 2, and we're just doing a recap of that. All right, let's look at this one over here quickly, number 2. The first thing I'm going to do, guys, is because I'm using the zero product law, I want this 4x to come over to the other side. I'm going to go 2x squared minus 4x equal to 0. Now, what can I do? Does anybody see anything that I can do here? Anybody? I know it's not a trinomial because I only have 2 terms. How can I factorize this? That's it, Ntokozo. That's it. Ntokozo says HCF. What is my HCF? What is my highest common factor? Keurata?
It's 2, ma'am.
It's 2 and what else? There's also another
And
common
X,
factor.
and X, X.
Good. 2x. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. And if I take 2x out, Keurata, what do I have left? X. I think I've lost Keurata. X minus 2. That's what I'm going to get. Thank you, Inganati. I see you. That's it, is equal to 0. Now I've got 2 things multiplied to 0. So I'm going to make each of them equal to 0. I'm going to go 2x is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. And then I can solve for x. Now, if I divide both sides by 2, over here, divide by 2, divide by 2, that's going to cancel. X is equal to 0 divided by 2 is just 0. Or if I take negative 2 over to the other side of my equal sign, it becomes positive 2, or x is equal to positive. All right. Okay, this is just an intro of what we did in the last lesson that we had on Wednesday. We're going to continue from here. And I hope you guys will stick with me. I'm going to try and move just a little bit faster, guys, just so our brains can get used to a quicker pace of math. Belinda says, sorry, ma'am, I'm lost. Okay, I cannot repeat number 2, guys. Okay, I cannot repeat number 2. I'm going to show you a lot more examples that look just like this one. Okay. I know, for those of you who are still a bit lost, we're going to do another example that looks. Don't stress. Don't stress. We're going to go through it. All right. So we were learning about the zero product. Let me just make sure I didn't put the same question again. Okay, no. All right. We were learning about the zero product law, guys. And the zero product law tells me that if I have 2 things and they're being multiplied to each other, and the answer that I get is 0, that tells me that this thing is either 0 or this thing is 0, because anything times 0 is equal to 0. I could not possibly have 1 and 2, because 1 times 2 is 2, it's not 0. So if I have 1 on the side, I need to have 0 on the side, because 1 times 0 is 0, or 0 times 3 is 0. One of these answers is going to have to be 0. So if I'm multiplying 2 things to each other, they need to give me 0. And the way we can figure out what my 2 answers for x are going to be over here is to factorize. All right. It's to factorize. And if I factorize, I'm going to have 2 brackets being multiplied to each other. And then I know that if the answer is 0, one of these brackets needs to equal. All right. So if I want to factorize number 1 over here, I'm going to open 2 brackets. And that's as far as I'm willing to take you guys. I need you guys to take yourselves to the end. All right, give me your answers in the chat. I'm factorizing a trinomial. What needs to happen in these brackets in order for me to get the answer I'm looking for? It was like at the end of the question already, like all the way at the end. You guys don't listen to Bikutu, just focus on your own sum. Mula's like, too easy. I'm liking that attitude. I'm gonna need it very soon. Hi, Jerison. Excellent. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. Jerison, check your signs though. That's it, Lesedi. One X in each bracket. Good. I could tell you guys we're gonna get this one quite easily. I know that I've got a plus in one of these, and plus times a minus will give me a minus. So inside my other bracket, I'm gonna have it. Factors of 15 that are going to give me 14. 1 times 15 And I know that I want positive 14, so I'm going to go 15 minus 1, and that's going to give me 14. So positive 15 minus 1. And now that I have two brackets multiplied to each other, and that's equal to 0, I know that I can make either one of them 0. X plus 15 is equal to 0, or x minus 1 is equal to 0. But I want x. I'm solving for x. So I'm going to take 15 over to the other side and negative 1 over to the other side. Teacher Cat, when I tell you that I'm so proud of my grade 10s for remembering to write my therefore. My therefore.
You are obsessed with therefore.
I am obsessed with therefore.
Therefore, it has history.
Therefore, I even forgot. Therefore, x is equal to negative 15, or x is equal to. Yes, Leandro, that's absolutely correct. The order doesn't matter. Okay. You can put x minus 1 and then x plus 15. Same WhatsApp group. Same WhatsApp group. Okay. Siam Chanda, what's up?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, my sweetie.
Oh, I would like to ask, how did you get the -1?
How did I get -1? All right. So remember over here, Siam Chanda, we were looking for factors of 15, right?
Yeah.
We were looking for factors of 15, and I chose 1 times 15, because 1 times 15 gives me 15, right? Are you with me there?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to add these two things, or I want to subtract these two things in a way that they're going to give me positive 14.
Okay.
Now, if I went 1 minus 15, that's going to give me negative 14. I don't want negative 14. I want positive 14. So between 15 and 1, which one needs to be negative?
Oh, okay. 1.
Negative 1 plus 15 will give me positive 14. You can see how I got this?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, excellent. No worries. Okay. For those of you who are like, ma'am, okay, I will take it step by step. Okay, let's look at the next question, and I'm going to take it. We're going to take it a little bit slow. Okay. On Tatila says, ma'am, we're going to get something like x to the power of 2 plus 14x minus 12 is equal to 4. Yes. On Tatila, we're going to do questions just like that. Okay. We're going to get to a question just like that one. For those of you who are lost, can I ask? Brayden says, ma'am, why did you put -1 in the end answer? Brayden, what happens if I take -1 to the other side of the equal sign? It becomes positive 1. Okay, it becomes positive 1. Excellent. All right. Okay, so this is another trinomial. Can I ask, let me see, I need Samu or Mukeliwe put their hand up for me because I want to take you guys through this one quite nicely. Okay, I want us to take it slowly so that we don't lose each other along the way. Okay. Gino says, ma'am, why aren't you saying 1 times -15? It's the same thing. It's the same thing, Gino, because there's already a negative here in front. Okay, so just because I'm not saying the 15, it doesn't mean that the negative, like I'm not saying -15, it doesn't mean that it's not there. It's there. Okay. Yes, good. Okay. So Mukeliwe says open 2 brackets. You're absolutely correct. Okay. We're going to open 2 brackets. First thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to note that one of my brackets is going to have a negative in it. All right. It's going to have a negative. So I might as well put a negative in there. Now, I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. I want this negative to multiply with something to give me a negative. A negative times a what gives me a negative? Negative times a? Good. Times a positive will give me a negative. Good. A negative times a positive, which means over here, I need a positive, a negative and a positive. Then I'm going to go look for the two factors of m squared. And that's going to give me m and m. All right, this is where we are at the moment. Now, I need you guys to give me factors of 18. Just 18. Okay. Hit you, that doesn't mean that the negative isn't there. It is. Here, I've already added it into my bracket. All right. Factors of 18. I see everyone in the chat going 3 and 6. Good. 3 times 6 is indeed going to give me 18. Right. Now, I want -3. I want -3. So if I go 6 minus 3, if I make the 3 negative, I'm going to get +3 as an answer. So I can't make the 3 negative. The 3 needs to be positive, and my 6 needs to be negative so that I can get a -3 as an answer. That's it, K. All right. So I know that over here, my 6 needs to go where the negative is. So 6 is going to go here, and 3 is going to go over here. All right. Now that I have my two brackets, I can equate both of them to 0. That's it, Amy. I like that one. The bigger number takes the first sign. I like it. Yes. So I'm going to go m minus 6 is equal to 0, or m plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay. Now I just have to solve for m. I want m on its own, so I'm going to take -6 over to the other side of the equal sign. And I'm going to take +3 over to the other side of the equal sign. Thank you, Jerison, for remembering my therefore. Oh, thank you, Bikuto. I love it. Therefore, m is equal to -6 becomes +6, or m is equal to +3 becomes -3. I need a thumbs up from you guys if you're 100% with this question. Okay, I see that, ma'am. Let me know what that ma'am means so I can help you out. Okay, I'm glad, Mukeli, I got it. You will have to get used to it. Okay, we do quite a lot of these. In fact, Mukeli, I'll tell you now, there's something similar to this in your matric paper. So I mean, you have to figure out how to do these things. Because imagine struggling with something in grade 10 and then you find it again in matric. You're like, yo, flames. See, I'm trying to say, what if I said m minus 3, m plus 6? See, I'm going to have to take a mark away. Okay. Because 6 minus 3 would give me +3 and not -3. So we need to make sure that our signs are correct. Okay. So you need to put the right signs. The quiz is on Wednesday, Braden. Okay. Yep. This is going to be in matric. Yep, it's going to be in the matric paper. It might not look quite like this, but you're going to be doing a lot of factorizing. There will be a lot of factors. So we need to get very used to factorizing. Okay. It will look like Teacher Cat, please don't scare the children. Do not scare
I'm
the
just
children.
being honest.
Braden says, will this be in our quiz? Yes, Braden, it will. It can. Okay, guys, but you'll see this week. It'll be in our quiz this week, Janelle. See, Amtanda, do you have to do the quiz? Technically, no. Do you want to get better? I know the answer is yes. Remember, the quiz is not for marks, guys. I'm not going to send a report to your parents and be like, yeah, Amtanda doesn't know. Okay. It's to make sure that you guys understand. It's to test your understanding. Okay. So make sure that you're trying the quiz to make sure that you're practicing this so that it becomes second nature. Okay. See, Amtanda says, what is the quiz about? It's about what we're doing now. Not about factorizing only, Janelle, but most of what we're going to be doing will be factorizing. All right, let's look at number 3, guys. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Gift. Fellow, it happens sometimes. Okay, Hope says, ma'am, please redo the same question with different numbers. All right, for those of you who've been with us since the beginning of the year, I want you guys, for those of you who are comfortable with this question, I want you guys to try number 3. I want you guys to take note of the fact that my coefficient in front of x squared is not 1, it's 9. And for those of you who've been with us, remember cross method or grouping method, whichever one works for you. Hope, I'm going to write another question for you and I, and we're going to go through it on this. Okay, so I'm going to go x squared minus 5x plus 6. All right, and Mukeliwe already says open two brackets. Good, I'm going to open two brackets because that's exactly what equals 0. Okay, I'm going to open two brackets equals 0. And then I know that one of my signs is going to be negative. One of my signs is going to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative here. Now, for those of you who are following me over here, tell me, guys, a negative times a what will give me a positive? Negative times a negative times what is negative? Positive. A negative times something equals positive. What is that something? If I have negative times positive, it's going to give me a negative. I want a positive. Hold on, Kay. I'll be with you in just a second. Good. A negative. Yes, Dorota. A negative times a negative will give me a positive. A negative and a negative. Okay. Now, I know that my factors of x squared are x and x. Now, for those of you following me, give me factors of 6 in the chat. 2 numbers that are going to give me 6. All right, I know I'm going to start you off with 6 times 1. What else? Good. 2 and 3. 2 times 3. Good. Right. Now, I need 2 numbers that when put together are going to give me negative 5. Which 2 numbers are those? I see you guys saying 2 times 3, 2 and 3, okay. But Siamtanda says 1 minus 6. All right, let's try 1 and 6. I'm going to have 1 minus 6. That means that my 1 needs to be positive and my 6 needs to be negative. But guys, look here. I've got a negative and a negative. So I can't have a positive number. Okay, I can't have a positive number. I need to make sure that my numbers are both negative. But if I went -2 minus 3, what about -2 minus 3, guys? -2 minus 3 is equal to -2 minus 3 is equal to -5. And both of those numbers are negative. So I know that those are the 2 numbers that go in here, -2 and -3. And I know it checks out because -2 times -3 gives me +6. Okay. So now these are my 2 factors of this question. So I can go x minus 2 is equal to 0 or x minus 3. 0. Oh, I'm sorry, Hasna. I don't know why. Hi, Hasna, because you joined us like so many times now. Maybe it's kind of weird. All right. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I think some of you guys call it transposing, or I'm just going to take the number over to the other side of the equal sign. We call it transpose. -2 goes over to that side and becomes +2, and -3 goes over to that side and becomes +2. They forgot my therefore. Therefore, x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 3. I'm going to stop taking this personally, guys.
I was about
Don't
to say
forget my
they're trying to die. They trying to die.
Thank you. Therefore, okay. I got my eye on you. That's it, Mukeliwe. They'll be positive because they'll go over to the other side of the sign and become positive. Yes, Lesedi says, but ma'am, won't two negative numbers give us a positive at the end? Yes, they will. What's going to happen? I'm going to have x times x will give me x squared. X times -3 will give me -3x. -2 times x will give me -2x. And then a -2 times a -3 will give me a +6. Lesedi, do you see how I have a +6 here at the end? That's exactly what I wanted. Okay. That's exactly what I wanted. Because my original answer has a +6 in it. Okay, Lesedi, that's why we do it. Because my original answer has +6, I know that a negative and a negative will give me a positive. That's why I need to make sure I put a negative and a negative. All right, somebody's like, ma'am, what happened to the 9? Okay, we're going to do that one now. Ma'am, can you please explain how you got this? X squared minus 5x plus 6k. I made it up. If you're asking where I got the question, I made it up in my head. Actually, it's quite a standard question that everyone asks. Okay. Or are you asking me how we got to the answer? Okay, I need you to be a little bit more specific for me, please, Kay, so I know how best to help you. Okay. Be a little bit more specific for me, my sweetie, so I know exactly what it is I'm helping you with. All right, I'm going to start on number 3, guys. I'm looking at number 3 over here. Oh, no, I didn't. No. I made it up on the side so that we could try it. All right. So remember, guys, it's a trinomial, so I'm still going to open 2 brackets. Okay, Samuel's already done. Jeez. Okay. Then over here, I need factors of 9x squared over here, and on the other side, I need factors of 8. Can you guys give me factors of 9x squared? Thanks, Petronella. That's it. 3 and 3. Don't forget my x's. There we go. All right. Give me factors of 8. Guys, let's do factors of 8. 4 and 2. Thank you, Q. We're going to try 4 and 2. Now remember, guys, we are multiplying in that direction and in that direction so that we can get to the answer that we're looking for. So if I go 3x times 2, that's going to give me 6x. And then I've got 3x times 4, which is going to give me 12x. All right, now I've got 12x and 6x. Guys, I want minus 6x. Between 6x and 12x, which one needs to be negative? The 6x or the 12x? That's okay, Gift. Samuel says 12x needs to be negative. Yes, because negative 12 minus 6 or negative 12 plus 6 will give me negative 6. So I need this top part here to be negative. So I'm going to put my negative here next to 4 so that when it multiplies, it's going to give me negative 12x. So that shows me that my brackets, I'm going to put these in my brackets exactly the way they are here. Okay, so I'm going to get 3x minus 4. I'm reading it over here, guys. That's my first bracket. And my second bracket is down here, 3x plus 2. All right. Now, because I've got 2 things equal to 0, I can make them each equal to 0. I need to now go 3x minus 4 is equal to 0, or 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. That's it. And then I can solve for x. I'm going to take negative 4 over to the other side, and I'm going to get 3x is equal to 4, or I'm going to take 2 over to the other side, and I'm going to have 3x is equal to negative 2. And now I want x, so I'm going to divide by 3. I'm going to divide by 3 over here, divide by 3 over there. These will cancel. And what I do on the left-hand side, I must also do on the right-hand side. Therefore, x is equal to, that's it, we could go 4 over 3, or x is equal to negative 2 over 3. Give me a thumbs up if you got this one correct, guys. Tell me if you got this one correct. That's it, Inganati. Well done, guys. Awesome stuff, Leandro. I see you there. Patrick, why can't it, Patrick says, ma'am, why can't it be 9x times 9x? Because 9x times 9x, Patrick, is going to give us 81x squared. We don't want 81x. Okay. We're looking for 9x squared at the end. Okay. For those of you who are like, ma'am, what just happened? We do a lot of these when we look at algebraic exponents. Okay, when we look at factorizing. Leandro, I need you to raise your hand again for me so I can unmute you. Okay. Yep, it's perfectly fine as long as your maths is sound. Okay, I hope you're not making up maths on the spot. Do you want to unmute for me, Leandro? Oh, sorry, unmute again, sorry.
Hello,
Hi.
ma'am. Is it fine if I first divided it by 3 and then took the 2 over?
It might not work because you know what we will have to do? You'll have to divide here by 3 and here by 3 first. Okay, you'll have to divide both of them by 3.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so it's easier if you take the 2 over first and then divide by 3. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Excellent.
You are muted, ma'am.
I'm like, Braden's mad at me. He's like, why is the answer a fraction? It's not me, Braden, it's the question. The question is itself a fraction. Yes, Petronella, exactly. Remember, when you do your distributive law, you have to get the question. That's it. So when we distribute, like when we do the whole FOIL method, we need to get back to this answer. Okay, that's it. Petronella, I feel like Petronella's teaching in the background. I love it. Like my whole teaching assistant. Teacher Cat, she's trying to take your job. I don't know.
I will cry and scream.
And Samantha's like, yo, this last one got me on the floor. I know. Lucky for you guys, we only ever ask about one of them in the test. So don't stress too much.
Okay, he's there. He's there.
Oh, Unsatila says, can I please give the answer to number 4? Unsatila, if you can raise your hand for me, so you can unmute. It was like, oh, so me. Guys, I'm going to give you all a chance to answer. Okay. Metric is going to be fine. Don't listen to Teacher Cat. Don't listen to her. Untatile, do you know where to find? Look for the reaction hand and raise your hand, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Teacher Cat, can we find Untatile and unmute her? I don't think she can find her reaction.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. For those of you who are wondering, what in the world is going on with number 4? What's wrong? What's wrong over here? What do I have on the right-hand side of my equal sign? What am I supposed to have on the right-hand side of my equal sign? That's it. That's exactly what I was looking for. It needs to be 0. Yes, Nganati. That's what I was hoping for. It's supposed to be equal to 0. And look, now it's supposed to be equal to 0. Yes. So I'm going to take the 7 over to the other side of my equal sign. And instead of being positive, it's going to become negative. It's going to become negative. Okay. And Mbali's saying, why? Mbali, remember we're using the 0 product law. We can't use the zero product law if we don't have 0 on the other side. So we need 0. We're going to take 7 over to the other side. I'm going to end up with p squared minus 6p minus 7 is equal to 0. Does this look a little bit easier for us to factorize? This looks easier. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. This, what we've just done now, is called standard form. Every time we're looking for solve for x with a trinomial or a quadratic, we need to make sure it's in standard form. And standard form just means that everything is on the left and on the right-hand side, we have nothing but 0. Okay, that's a nice one, Tandem. Thank you. All right, factorize, guys. Remember, open 2 brackets. And this is equal to 0. Gift has already gotten to the end. I mean, you guys. Okay.
Untatile should be able to unmute now.
Yeah. And Tatila, if you can unmute, please, my sweetie, unmute and let's have a conversation, you and I. I'm not hearing anything at the moment. Okay, we'll come back to it. I have many, many questions, guys. Don't worry. All right, so I'm going to put a negative and a positive. Well done for those of you who picked up on that, because a negative times a positive will give me this negative. That's it, Mkuliwe. That's what I'm looking for. Good. Now I know that the factors of p squared of p and p, the factors of 7 are 1 times 7, but I need negative 6. So I'm going to go positive 1 minus 7 will give me negative 6. Rata, you have a question, you can put it in the chat for me, or you can raise your hand, my sweetie, so we can unmute you. Okay. And then we know how to finish from here, guys. P minus 7 is equal to 0, or p plus 1 is equal to 0. Therefore, p is equal to 7, or p is equal to negative 1. I saw somebody asking me earlier, ma'am, is the therefore necessary? Yes. Okay. Yes, it is. And the reason it's necessary is because sometimes we write so haphazardly, our teachers can't tell where our sums end. So the therefore is there for our teachers to know where our sum ends. So they're looking for our final answer. And the therefore tells our teacher where to look to our final answer. Hi, Kiorata. Hello? Oh no. You want to unmute again? Kiorata, actually. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. Hello.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I was asking, how do you know that you're gonna like put a negative and a positive by the binomials? How do you know?
We have to look at this sign. Look here. Okay. I know that one of my signs is going to be a negative. Okay. If there's a negative here, I'm already going to put the negative inside one of my brackets. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And then I'm going to look at this sign over here, this one at the end. If I have a negative times a what is going to give me a positive.
A
I need a
negative.
negative. Sorry. I need a negative. So a negative times what equals negative? A negative times a?
Positive.
Good. So that's how I know that this sign over here needs to be.
Positive. Oh, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. All right. Again, I just like, ma'am, did you hear what you said? Therefore is therefore our teacher. Therefore is very, yes, therefore it's very, guys, the therefore is therefore your teacher. Exactly. I got it. I got it. Yes, let's do a brain break. Let's do a very, very quick brain break. We're going to do max 24. Just tell me in the chat with a yes or a no. How many of you guys know how to do max 24? How many of you guys have done?
No.
I'm getting so many no's. That's okay. Okay. All right. I'm going to teach you guys how to do max 24. It's actually quite nice. It's quite nice. All right. So what we want to do, guys, is we want to use all the numbers in this square, just the square that I've got over here. I need to add them in a way, okay, that they're going to give me the answer 24. I can only use each of them once. Okay, I can only use each of them once. And I can use all the 4 operations: multiply, divide, add, and subtract. And I have to use each of these numbers once so that they give me 24. I'll give you guys an example. So I can go 3 plus 3. So 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So now I've used these 2 up. I can't use them anymore. Times 1 is equal to 6. So now I've used 1. And then I times that by 4. So I've used up 4, and that's equal to 24. See, so I've used up all of these, and they've given me the answer 24. All right. So I need you guys to have a look at this one. It has a 1, a 1, a 4, and a 7. Figure out how you can use all of those numbers. You must use all of them. You can't skip one. You must use all the numbers, and you can use any operation you want, and it needs to give us 24. And you can only use each number once, just once. Okay, Lwandile says 4 times 3. Where did the 3 come from? Lwandile, wait. Where did it come from? Mirula, I'm not 100% sure what that means. Okay, you need to explain that. And that she says 7 minus 1 is equal to 6 times 4, times 4 over there is equal to 24 times 1 is equal to 24. That's it. All right, there's a different way to do this as well. Okay, let's see if anybody else can figure out the other way to get to 24. Somebody else in the other class also showed us how to do it. Pretty cool. Think of the ways that we can put these together and get them to give us 24. That's okay, Siamtanda, whatever you feel like. Kiorata says 4 multiplied by 7. 4 multiplied by 7 is 28. We're looking to make 24, guys. I'm sorry, Isa. All right, what about this? I'm going to take 7 plus 1. 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. And then 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. And 8 times 3 is equal to 3. All right, we could do that as well. Okay, that's a pretty nice one. I thought that was nice. Now, these are easy because there's only 1 dot here in the middle. Let's look at ones with 2 dots in the middle. 2 dots. Okay, start with the first 4 numbers. I want you guys to try these 4 numbers and see if they can give you 24. Mukeliwe, it's just a game. Okay, it's not that deep, I promise. Okay, it's not that deep. Tandaluchi's already kind of got an answer for us. Tandaluchi says 7 times 4 is 28. You can only use the 4 once. Pablo says, what do the dots signify? They signify the hardness. Devora says 1 times 1 is equal to 7. I know your math is not mathing, dude. The math is not mathing. Okay, Vitepo says 6 plus 7. Ooh, I like this one. 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. So we've used 6 and 7. Times 2 is equal to 26. We got 2. Minus 2 is equal to 24. I love it. I love it. Nice one. Those of you who are like 6 times 2 times 2, what about 7? You have to use the 7. The 7 must be used. So what about it? Cranley's like 6 divided by 2. I'm sorry, Q. I'm sorry. 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. Where 2 after that? Okay. 3 times 7 is 21. And then I'm sorry, Patu. Patu's like, hi, this brain break is not brain breaking. All right. That's okay, guys. 6 times 3, that's 6 times 1. Yes, I agree with that one, Mirula, for this one. This one over here, we can go 6 times 3, so we've used that. And then 6 times 1, so we've used those two. 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 1 is 6. 18 plus 6 is indeed 24. Well done. Okay. Candy's like, yo, ma'am, I'm already lost. It's okay. It's okay. It's not that deep. Let's focus on the things that we actually do need to know. Oh, you guys are fine. Yeah, by the way, some of you guys really see the connection. It's quite difficult to see them sometimes. That's it, Siamtanda. You've got the right answer there for me. All right, let's have a look at number 5, guys, before we have to go. I'm sorry, Leah, but that's the whole point. Leah's like, this brain break is breaking my brain. I'm sorry, but it's a brain break. It's supposed to break your brain. It's okay, Lesedi. It's not that deep. All right, guys, let's look at okay, let's skip number 5 for now. Let's go to number 6. Isa's already got an answer for number 5, but we're gonna skip it for now, guys. No. Brayden is like, isn't it supposed to give our brain a break? No, it's supposed to break your brain. That's what it's there for. Okay, so Mirula says x is equal to 3. Mirula, can you tell us how you got to that answer? Let me write this one over here. This one says x squared is equal to 9. Okay, we're not going to do number 5. We're going to talk about number 5 in Wednesday's lesson. Okay. Q says difference of 2 squares, and I agree with Q. Okay, Mirula says square root. So if I square root this side and I square root this side, therefore, x is equal to the square root of 9, which is 3. Okay, so Mirula gave us one answer, but for those of you who are going to do dots, I'm going to take the 9 over, and I'm going to end up with x squared minus 9 is equal to 0. Those of you who do dots, you're going to end up with 2 answers. So Mirula, how come you ended up with 1 answer and everybody has 2 answers? What happened? Who can tell me what happened? Oh, I'm like x plus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to negative 3, or x is equal to positive 3. Mirula, I'm gonna tell you exactly why you ended up with 1 answer and you shouldn't have. Because if I have 3 squared, that's going to give me 9. But what about negative 3 all squared? What's the answer to negative 3 all squared? Let me know. What is the answer? Negative 3 all squared is? That's it. It's also 9. So we need to be very careful when we take the square root of a number. My answer is always going to be either positive or negative, that answer. Okay, it's never just going to be 1. It's going to be positive and negative. All right, I hope that makes sense, Mirula. Don't forget that, positive and negative. And if you do this, if you square root, don't forget to put this positive and negative, otherwise you won't get your 4 mark. Okay, that's it, Dinelle, that's correct. Okay, you can actually use this method. You just need to make sure your positive and negative is there. All right, we can check number 5 quickly, but we are kind of out of time. So let's see how this goes. Practice makes perfect, or practice makes permanent. Siamtanda, you are correct. Okay, I'm going to open 2 brackets again. Remember, our factors, our coefficient for x squared is 14. It's not x. Okay, so I'm going to use my cross method. On this side, I need the factors of 14x squared. And on this side, I need the factors of negative 6. I even forgot a step. I forgot a step. Yo, the way I'm lying. 14x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equal to 0. All right. Okay, I'm going to leave the minus out because I already know if I open two brackets, one of them is going to be positive. What do I need to do to a positive to make it a negative? I need to multiply the negative. My factors of 14 are going to be 7x and 2x. And my two factors of 6 are going to be, okay, let's try 3 and 2. Let's see if 3 and 2 can give me what I'm looking for. 7x times 2 is equal to 14x. And 2x times 3 is equal to 6x. There is no combination of these things that are going to give me 5x. None of them, this one. None of them are going to give me 5x. So maybe let's not use that. Maybe let's use 6 and 1. Let's see if 6 and 1 will give us something. 7x times 1 is equal to 7x. 2x times 6 is equal to 12x. Now that looks a little bit more like what I'm looking for. 12x minus 7x will give me 5x. Good. One of them has to be negative. That's correct, Kiarata. So because this negative 7x is over here, that tells me that this negative 1, or this 1 needs to be negative. And then this tells me exactly what my brackets need to look like as they go in. So I'm going to have 7x plus 6 and 2x minus 1. All right. And from there, then it becomes easy, guys. I know that each of them needs to be equal to 0. So 7x plus 6 is equal to 0, or 2x minus 1 is equal to 0. Isa's like, I did 3 and 2. Isa, that means you didn't check your answer before you put them in the bracket. You need to check your answer. Okay, you need to make sure you're checking your answer. Let's put some space in between here. All right. So I then get 7x is equal to, I'm going to take positive 6 over and it will become negative 6. Or 2x is equal to, I'm going to take negative 1 over and it will become positive 1. And then I'm going to divide by 7 over here and divide by 2 over there. So that will cancel. Therefore, x is equal to negative 6 over 7, or x is equal to 1 over 2. And Melissa's like, ma'am, can I do number 7? We are out of time, Melissa. It is officially 7 o'clock. We have run out of time. Tokosa's like, I got it. I love to hear it. That's it. We could go, well done. Well done. All right. For those of you who are confused and still having a hard time with what's going on, Amy says, how much will a question like this be out of? All right. So we're going to give you a mark for putting it in standard form. We're going to give you 2 marks for factorizing correctly because this is a grade 10 concept. And then we'll give you 2 marks for the concept. So 5 marks. If you do it correctly though. Okay. If you do it correctly. Okay. You're very welcome, Cranley. Keep practicing, guys. Okay.